What
Okay.
is your one question?
My one question. Out of all of the people that you have met, interviewed, sat next to, give me, and I know it might be hard to pick one, but give me one of the top people that changed your perspective on life or a large portion of life after speaking with them.
They all have a cumulative effect. What it is, it's a reaffirmation of how different we are, but how much we are the same. There was one guy that changed my life in a positive way because he taught me some practical things. His name was Art Fry. I was in an invention contest a number of years ago. I was a finalist in the Staples Invention Quest, and the speaker was going to be the guy who invented the Post-it note. And he was going to be up on stage, and he's from Minnesota, which I grew up in, and I just wanted to shake his hand, but he was just being mobbed. No, I said, okay, forget it. I got to catch the plane and get back. I'm the last guy on the plane. There's one seat open left on the plane next to Art Fry. And I love that because it was way back in economy. So we're way back in the engine noise. And I said to him, I said, you could have sat up at the front. And he said to me, it was kind of cool. He said, well, and he was a humble guy, but he said something to the effect that, yeah, I've made more money for companies and economies than those guys will ever dream of, because it's true. I mean, because the Post-it notes there's factories in France, there's entire places that are cranking out Post-it notes. His idea, he said that in the company he worked at, 3M, they told you must work 8 hours a week on something that and nobody believed in his idea. It was called Art Fry's idea. In fact, it was so hated by everybody. This is why he is allowed to be called the inventor of the Post-it note instead of it being a 3M product. Now, 3M still gets all of the profits and proceeds. Art Fry has no problem with that whatsoever because he had a good life. He enjoyed what he did. He got a little bit of notoriety. If he was asked to speak some different places, he'd get that. But basically, the lesson that he taught me was that, kind of like this, what other people think of you is none of your business. If you're called to do it, you're called to do it. It doesn't, just pursue it. Sometimes we tell people, let me say, post hoc ergo propter hoc. It says, this, therefore, because of this. So in other words, this guy, let's look at Steve Jobs, who is considered sometimes a jerk, right? So if you want to be successful, easy, just be a jerk. Well, okay, there is more to it than that. And so whenever somebody succeeds, we say, well, they succeeded. But there are people who never succeed, but still have certain qualities that make them successes, even if they don't succeed. Art Fry was a humble guy, a scientist, worked his job, and I just thought he was an excellent example and really a hero of living your story. And then in the fullness of time, we'll decide if it was a good story. God will be a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
It allowed me to live a passion or pursue a passion, and also at the time let go, as you're talking to, of comparison. It's a journey that I'm on with my shepherd. I don't have to be that sheep over there. I don't have to be that sheep. It'll be fine. And in the fullness of time, I'll be able to sit down and say, well, that was a really good story.
Exactly.
Sandra Dee, what a great pleasure and honor. We'll have to let you go. But in the meantime, we'll pull up all your website and all your stuff. And I hope that, I'm a small guy out in the middle of nowhere, but who knows? This may go viral someday, okay?
Let's hope that happens. Yes.
God bless.
Thank you.